Welcome back to the ASUS RG Dreamleague. We're ready for the second game of the first series of day 5 of stage 2 of the Dreamleague. And we're here, of course, we're still with EG and MVP Phoenix, where EG just took the first game. And we're going to see if MVP Phoenix can take it to make it even. What do you think, Ted?
Yeah, it was pretty convincing from EG, to be honest with you. I don't know, the guys were suggesting that the draft might have played a part in it. I mean,
yeah, I think that MVP had a decent draft to play out of, but then the style that EG just composed, playing together as 5 so much, really stopped any type of aggression from MVP. So they dealt with it a lot better than other teams have here in Phase 2.
I think it's kind of one of those styles where MVP had actually more towers than EG for some point. I think they killed tier 2 mid, that one got denied, and they killed the safe lane tower before EG had gotten anything. But the problem is when you have Lycan on your team, that hero demands a reaction from your opponent. If you leave him alone, he kills buildings faster than any other hero. So if you let that hero through and you have a team that has to play like a Slark or a Brewmaster who either want to go for team fights or picks, and you always have a Lycan constantly to have to worry about, then your attention has to be focused at the Lycan. And that's a win for the team who has the Lycan, because if you're focusing him, you're not killing anybody else and you're not pushing us. So I feel like MVP maybe needed to just go all out and just try to fight all the time.
A lot of it also comes down to the fact that they were farming really well on all 3 cores. Tidehunter on bottom lane was farming like as much as he wants.
Yeah.
The Lycan on mid was doing really well, and Weaver, of course, was dominating top lane. So when you win 3 lanes in that sense, it's pretty hard to lose the game in the end.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, we'll see if they can have more success with their lanes in the next game, which actually has already started. So we're going to go straight into the draft and not wait any longer, because I don't want to miss any of the draft.
The draft indeed. EG opening up with an Elder Titan ban, and surprise, surprise, Lycan is banned in the second game.
Yes.
I think we kind of both expected that, to be honest, and Ted too.
Elder Titan Brewmaster from EG this time. And yeah, the Lycan ban is nothing that surprises you. Same bans from EG.
If they hadn't banned Lycan, you'd be saying, how could they not? I mean...
Well, some teams feel like instead of banning the hero, they just play something that they feel is really strong against it.
What is really strong against Lycan?
Well, anything with either hard lockdown, win your lanes really hard, that's also very good against Lycan. Because if you force him to off-map farm instead of push lanes and stuff like that, which Arteezy still off-map farms quite a bit, but he does it until he has what he needs, and then all of a sudden he's just shoving everything at the same time, which can be a nuisance. So I think the early game is actually the time when you actually beat Lycan, as opposed to waiting it out.
There are a surprising number of heroes, sorry Wagger, there are a surprising number of heroes where it's like, oh, well, you just beat them early on. And on the pro level, that's conceivable. But on the pub level,
it's not.
Just being told, oh, you got to shut him down. It's like,
Yeah, exactly. Because in pub, it's like, okay, maybe you win your lane against him or something, and then your team doesn't do anything with it. You don't push, and suddenly, like, okay, he caught up in farm, and now we lost.
You do 5 versus 5 mid for 10 minutes.
And
or 5 versus 4.
That's also one of the points that I keep saying this, but the top teams know how to use a Lycan to the best extent possible. Like, EG always gets the most out of it. You saw how effective he was going into the jungle and just letting Witch Doctor farm up on the mid lane. And PPD had, again, some pretty good play from his support role. Got plenty of kills with his Witch Doctor ulti.
Also kept Arteezy alive when they were diving in mid, like walking around to Voodoo Restoration.
That was a crazy dive. Even the Killing Blade juke at the end of it was really beautiful.
I don't know. I feel as though MVP definitely had what it takes. I just feel like that draft from them, even though I think their team composition in of itself was sound, you said it perfectly. It's like their early game just did not really do much. They got a couple of towers, and after those 2 towers, the game had just felt like it was EG's all the way. So hopefully, for their sake, they can put themselves on a bit more of a level playing field when it comes to the draft.
Yeah, and how do you feel going up against Elder Titan Brewmaster? Because EG now have the option to build early Vlads and AC on Brew. And with Elder Titan in your team, you just remove so much of the armor from the enemy, especially against Ogre, who has so high base armor.
Yeah.
The man fighting feels like it's going to be almost as hard as in the previous game against EG.
I just like Elder Titan with Brew in general. Like, obviously, the aura stacking is really nice, but I think it's one of those heroes who you have one initiator who's really strong. You blink in, you clap, and the other team tries to like either stop you or focus you before you can split. And Elder Titan is great in those situations, because if you get caught in an Earth Splitter or a Stomp or anything like that, you automatically get your split every time, pretty much. And you're either that or you're going to take a ton of damage. So
didn't we see a team building around this kind of idea the other day, but instead of getting more than one level in Stomp, they went for natural order, and I was kind of confused about why.
That was C9.
Yeah.
Yes, C9 did it, and I believe Psy might have done it as well when EG played it. And you have to respect that Psy plays an amazing Elder Titan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm wondering what the reason is behind going for that Stomp, but saying, well, we only really need it for a second. The natural order is worth more.
It is the old build, and it used to be very effective and still is fairly effective because you remove all their armor early on in the game that they have naturally, and normally you don't have that much bonus armor. You don't have Vlads too early on. Solskjaer is definitely not there, and not too many heroes build into armor items early on either. So
why is Sniper banned here?
Oh, MVP love to play Sniper.
Very true.
And with Ogre, it's feasible that they would have picked it.
I actually think that these types of heroes like Venge, Brew, and Elder Titan struggle against Zeus and Sniper because they're two heroes who stand a ridiculous distance away. And honestly, if you're playing against a good Sniper or Zeus, you're never going to get hit by a Stomp. Like, an Elder Titan Stomp is so easy to not get touched by unless something else is impeding you from walking away. So with that being said, I definitely agree with the bans. It's just a nuisance. And honestly, in a straight-up engagement, heroes like Brew and Elder Titan and Venge are amazing. Like, they all deal high amounts of damage. They're all actually relatively tanky. Even the Venge has decent stat gain, decent base armor. I mean,
you know what I would like to see from EG? Just like some PPD Phoenix or something. If they were doing this, imagine Brewmaster just farming up. He can be safe lane or mid, doesn't really matter. Elder Titan can support. And you just have Elder Titan supporting, or sorry, not PPD playing the Phoenix, but sending an offlane Universe Phoenix with Elder Titan supporting it. You have some amazing combination, but probably not gonna see it as teams are very unlikely to draft new heroes in the beginning.
Phoenix also really awesome against Void.
Yeah,
really awesome. I mean, that's
and with Void.
That's that's also very true. I mean, if you are not in the sphere, Void just doesn't attack, basically, or he's forced to run around a lot inside of the sphere, which is also equally annoying. And going for the Naga Siren, this is pretty much a direct answer to Void. Makes the Void pretty much have to go on you unless he just wants his sphere to be pretty much worthless.
Yeah.
And MVP's answer to that is just going to be picking up an Ember Spirit. So are we thinking mid-Naga or are we thinking mid-Brew?
I think mid-Naga, I would say. RTC plays a good mid-Naga. And with the high levels from there, you can farm really well on mid. And if it's against an Ember Spirit, which it should be now, it's a fair matchup. Naga can totally win that one, or at least do well against him. And, you know, I've seen RTC play Naga so many times where he just manages to achieve 16, 15-minute Radiance, which is amazing on the mid lane.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Just the build is just to get Bottle early on, Aquila, and then Brown Boots rushing Bottle back and forth until you have Radiance. This build, we saw Void play against Naga Siren yesterday as well. C9 had a Naga, and Envy just cancelled a lot of the initiations from the Chronosphere.
That was the third series, right, I think?
Yes, I think so.
That was the last one I cancelled yesterday, so yeah, I remember that.
Second to last series of the day, and it worked out beautifully. There we see RTZ focusing pretty hard. So intense.
Very intense. Or he's thinking about, man, I hate how my hair looks, and I hate having to wear a hat.
It's like, this hat makes me look amazing.
It's true. It's all true. But I think the Naga Void matchup is very interesting because not only does Naga do very well against Sphere, but the farm rate of the hero in general is pretty insane, right? Like, we watched the game where Envy was playing against that Void, and not only was he good at getting in position for songs, but he also had like a 2 items up on the Void, right? Yeah. At the same point in the game. And it's not even like the Void was under-farmed, because I'm pretty sure it was actually MVP playing against them, against Cloud9, right? And I think it was Heen who was playing on the Void, and his farm was still good. It's just that Naga Siren farms faster.
I remember the game. Void had a lot of item progression, but then, like, suddenly it just seemed like his items stopped, and Naga kicked up like 2 or 3 items during the time that he was still stuck on the same gear. And that's just really what happens late game Naga. Like, she will farm everywhere with Manta Style and Illusions, and you can't really stop it unless you somehow get to the, you know, the core, killing the actual Naga, which is extremely hard to do. And MVP now, they have a good fighting lineup, but so do EG.
EG's lineup is terrifying to fight, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, Storm has insane mobility, Brewmaster control, you're going to have Elder Titan and Venge support. And a Naga Siren probably farming mid. I mean, or is it Arteezy who only plays Storm?
I still think, well, Arteezy plays such a good Naga, I feel it's almost waste to not having played. And I feel Storm should fit Fear's style, because he plays a very good Puck, which is similar in style. Also, his Invoker is very strong, and it's, again, the same type of ganking movement, the pattern that you play. And that would allow him to play safe lane Storm, rushing up Orchid, and get that 13, 14-minute Orchid and start ganking.
What a scary-ass team.
It is scary. And last hero, of course, from MVP. What do you expect to see here, Dad?
I don't know. I mean, they need an offlaner, right?
Silence
so,
it. Get silence.
Unless, all right, Slardar, it's offlane Void. Never mind.
Would not have called that one.
Okay, so Slardar is really interesting because obviously the damage output that you're going to have with the Slardar in a single target is really high, but I guess it amplifies the damage that Ward does too, right?
Yeah.
Death Ward is going to hit really damn hard with amplify damage. Yeah, and they needed some hero that's actually pretty scary to ball into from a Storm perspective. So you think of these heroes like Lycan, for example. I often say that is really good against Storm because you can't really ball into a Lycan, you know, because he just eats you alive and he forces you to waste all your mana on mobility. Yeah. I think Slardar might try to function in the same way. It's like if you just chase down the Storm, he's forced to use all his mana to live as opposed to using his mana to initiate and kill. So.
Yeah, and they have good disable on their team. I mean, they have Ogre, which is very hard to stop as a Storm because it's not a projectile. It's just a cast animation time that then lands on top of you, so you can't juke the stun. Witch Doctor, obviously not that good against Storm, but it is still a stun. Slardar, Chronosphere, and even the Bolas can be fairly strong in the Searing Chains. So having tons of disable is a good strong point. And actually every single hero in this game have disable of some form. That's fun to see. Even, I mean, Brewmaster would have to commit his ulti, but it's very stun-heavy lineups from both teams.
Going to see how the lanes work out here in just a minute. This Universe is going to be playing the Elder Titan, so they're not going to be playing Sport Elder Titan, it's Sport Naga.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, this kind of makes recently, yeah.
This makes more sense because I don't think I've seen Universe play Brew much, if at all.
That's true. That's true. They have played Naga support recently. I can't remember in what tournament that was, but I did see that game as well.
And MVP, they always change their roles around. It's going to be Heen off lane this game on the Faceless Void, and I think they actually just play the hero as opposed to playing the lane, which I still think is probably the better way to do it, just because even if you're a good offlaner, if you have no experience on a hero, that's, I think, more detrimental than maybe not having experience on a particular lane. And
yeah.
MVP seem to always delay stuff, even when they're massively behind, just because of the experience that they have.
They do.
Mercy, please.
Mercy, please. And QO this time, of course, playing the Slardar instead of the Ember Spirit, even though he was the Ember in the game yesterday, where they got raxed 20 minutes in and kept playing till 65 minutes despite that. So QO, gotta leave it to 4Ev this time on Ember.
March picking up an illusion rune here. Pretty annoying to deal with, but...
And Witch Doctor's harass is fairly annoying overall. Like, just the fact, sure, he has 0 armor, but very often he will either stun your face or start healing himself while clicking you. So Fear might take some harass here to secure the early lane of QO. Even gonna go for some heavy damage here.
Ouchie.
Look at that, man. Fear just getting punched.
Yeah.
They actually almost killed him. He's at 48 HP and all he has are shared tangos.
Yeah, shared tangos are not gonna do you much here. He does send out a salve immediately, knowing that he can't get to the bottle safely with this. And he also went for a stout shield. Probably the stout shield saved his life, to be honest.
Yeah.
But this is gonna make it very hard. Oh, look at March. So smart? No, okay. Fear backs up and picks up the bottle, but March wanted to get the kill on the courier, I believe.
That would have been
something.
Well, he still breaks the salve. I mean,
yeah.
He didn't get the full HP from it. He got most of it.
Like 100 damage illusion attack, if you think about it that way.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. Heen contesting the pull here in top lane. Hasn't actually distributed any skills just yet, and he has a boatload of regen.
He does.
Dang.
I mean, this is actually the smart way to build it, because against Venge and Naga, they're going to be constantly harassing, but you're not going to die super quick. You're just going to be forced to eat some damage to make sure you get EXP.
Yeah. Slardar has a scary weapon, man, just looking at him. It has 15 demons imprisoned. How does that even work, man?
I don't know.
How does
I've never captured a demon myself.
How do you? Okay.
Huh?
So
how do you level that up?
I'm not sure.
You capture demons, man.
Yeah.
I think that you must have to kill someone who is a demon or has demons.
Probably.
Bounty rune going to be secured here by March. They're going pretty hard here on Zai. PPD is sitting in the back with a stun ready.
No RNG bash, sadly for them. Of course, level 1.
He's
so
saving it up. He's saving it up.
Oh yeah, better use that bash in the late game. Universe already rotating here because he's having a very hard time on offlane, and you know, feeling that his job was done on bottom lane. Ryzen is here. Damage is being dealt to Fear.
Yeah, Stomp coming in, hits on all three. Universe.
Oh my god.
What a player. QO is going to pop sprint, eats a thunderclap. The next crush will go off. First blood going the way of MVP, but Universe manages to secure the kill on QO. Well, he dies to the tower, but he does make sure that the hero goes down. PPD wanting to land a stun here. Not quite fast enough. And
still perfectly fine getting that kill. You could argue that it's not worth as much since Fear has been struggling and, you know, he's a little bit lower. And losing your Slardar when you're dominating this hard on mid lane already is sort of a bad thing. So I guess it's a fairly even trade despite it being a first blood.
Yeah, I mean, the golden experience difference was negligible at best, so.
Yeah.
And I mean, the cool thing is for Universe there is he was the recipient of the solo experience of a mid, kind of, which is really cool for him because his lane was going terribly up until this point.
And he has his Tranquils now, so he can happily just, you know, walk down to his bottom lane and try to give it another go.
Do you think PPD stays here now and sits with Fear for a while?
He might just, you know, hold his hand a little bit and let him farm up. Does get the bottle, so I think Fear is going to be just fine. And more than anything, you want to get experience onto Brewmaster now. So Venge should probably leave again.
A minute ago, he was 0-1, and now he's 11-2, so it's helping a bit, I think.
Yeah.
Having that buddy system.
Well, it's not necessarily that MVP can kill that well with their heroes on a brew. It's just that Fear wasn't full HP when they decided to like fully commit to the kill. And there were 3 heroes there, so.
Oh, nice blue rune here by QO. Gonna pick that up and go and farm on the mid lane. Heen trying to bait here on top lane.
Oh yeah, this could be a bit of trouble top.
Yeah, they have smoked up here, so there's no way of knowing really that they're already sitting behind the secret shop or behind the side shop.
His eyes slithering his way over there. Doesn't see anything
Seems safe. Like, okay, this seems legit. No one is here. But they're so patient, but no one is revealing themselves on bottom. Universe has to be calling this like they're not here. And pretty safe play. Look at how tight EG are playing when they are unaware.
Yeah.
They're just sitting with all 3 on the safe lane together. Now splitting up a little bit, but still in fairly safe region.
I think they're just prioritizing like the safety of their lanes because if the Storm gets a good start, I mean, granted, Arteezy opts to go for Bloodstone instead of going for the Orchid, but if he's able to snowball, the Storm is one of those heroes that becomes just an absolute terror.
Yeah.
In pretty much any game. And now they're going to be walking forward here. He's going to be getting a Riptide into a pull. Nice time on the stun. He not able to time walk away from that one. Ends up dropping, and Snare goes off. 2 Overload auto attacks coming out of Arteezy. He's going to throw a third.
Oh, wow,
Are they going to be able to get 2? Looks like they will.
Showing some strength there of this lane. Of course, 2 points into the Wave of Terror and 2 points into Riptide. That's a lot of minus armor already. -7 armor, and Storm just showing how hard he can hit through that. So, strong play, no doubt. And that was MVP committing their supports going off lane, not pulling and getting experience, trying so long to fight the enemy, and in the end just dying with 2 and backing off. Now they rotate over a ward. Cannot really catch a break in their rotations.
Double damage, March. He gets the coconut. No level 6 on Fear. This should be an easy kill here for EG. Teleport reaction coming in. It's going to be Zai. Is he going to be able to get any rebuttal here? Goes in for the Riptide. Doesn't waste the ensnare on the first kill. They actually managed to get 2. EG having 3. Oh, well, 2 of their supports, 1 offlaner here towards middle lane.
Just got mana.
Oh no, the vision. He can't get it, but he's a little bit faster. He's quite a bit faster.
That ward placement from Zai.
Fireman is angry.
Yeah, that's high-level Searing Chains, by the way. He's actually opting to level it over his Flame Guard at the moment. The Stomp and hits on both!
Universe with the clutch plays here. Fear TPs in and gives a little bit of a drink to PPD for his efforts. Of course, the instant TP bottle giveaway. Still keeping your
QO going top lane. Soul Ring, balls away. He's going to try to juke here, but he does have the amplified damage. Looks like he'll have more than enough mana to get away from that.
I was about to say he doesn't have enough mana to get away. Then I saw he has a Soul Ring and like, okay, he's fine. So EG just 5 kills already, and most of them by counter initiations. So really well played, reacting to MVP's ganks.
Honestly, with this kind of a laning phase, I would actually say that EG are about in the same position that they were in game number 1, where I feel like their team has a really easy time like dictating the tempo until Heen becomes a threat, really, which is going to be a long time because you kind of want Treads, Mask of Madness, and another item. The thing is, if you just have Treads, Mask of Madness, and a safe lane Void at like 9-10 minutes in, that's actually pretty dangerous. But if you have it at like 15 or 16 minutes, or maybe even later, depending on how bad your lane goes off lane, not nearly as scary.
Yeah, but I mean, the farm is going the way of MVP. Looking over to the heroes, they have 50 CS against 45 for the safe laners, 36 for 26 on the mid laners, and 14 against 3 on the off laners. So they're still ahead in terms of gold, just very barely. It's dead even, actually. And experience slightly ahead of MVP, despite the 2-5. So I think they're not that far behind, but it's more about the fact that they're struggling when it comes to finding anything with their supports.
Yeah. That is the big difference. Zai's 2,100 net worth comparative to the 900 and 1,500 of the Ogre and the Witch Doctors, so...
Yeah, Zai's having a great time on this Naga.
He's going to get amped again. And I think that's another thing, too, that's important to point out, is one of their supports actually transitions into a semi-core, if not a full core, which is pretty terrifying, honestly, because if he ever gets a Radiance, which I'm pretty sure Zai has done himself in the later stages of the game, just transition into pushing out all the lanes, suddenly it becomes harder for MVP because their wave clear is going to be decent with 4Ev, but he's really the only one who has it.
Yeah, but I'm not sold on the support Naga trying to transition into pushing out lanes and carrying to any extent against an Ember. It's definitely difficult.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's going to be tough still.
Well, I guess we'll see sooner or later. Arteezy jumping forward here. He's going to find Heen. He does have Sphere, though. Just thinking about turning around and dropping it. Making it a little obvious, though. Arteezy fully committing to this. He really wants this kill on March. Gets one more Overload auto attack off, but unfortunately it's not quite enough.
Yeah, and we see a lot of rotations up here, but now gonna have to run back, I think, with QO, because else Fear is just having a great time on mid lane meanwhile. And the ward scouted them out so early as well with the rotation stop.
Oh, QO missing a stop here. Wanted to try to get some harassment and Fear with a deny.
It's an amazing skill though. It has 8-second cooldown, so if you miss it, doesn't matter that much. It's also a 2.5-second stun and 2 seconds slow after that. So on paper, I think Slitherine Crush is one of the best disables in the game, to be honest.
It's definitely up there. The biggest problem that Slardar has is, even though his base armor is really high, Sprint makes you just explode. I think that's really the problem that he suffers from, because he kind of needs to use it in the early game, but when you do use it, you're putting yourself in a very precarious situation most of the time.
Yeah.
Especially when you're sprinting into like Elder Titan, Clap, and then you have Magic Missile to worry about as well, and a Storm. You just flop over.
He's also a semi-carry version of Centaur, but without the ulti. And Centaur without ulti just doesn't sound too impressive.
Yeah.
And add semi-carry to that, and it's like, meh. It's, you know, sure, the amplified damage can be amazing in some games, but it's not as impressive as the Stampede, which is really what makes Centaur such a great hero and buffs a lot to the War Stomp. Mid once again, MVP with the plentiful rotations here.
Oh, he's going to walk high ground right into Heen and Ryzen. Sphere going to be dropping. They're killing him so slow. They need to kill him faster. The split is stopped. Here comes the song.
The song.
The song of his people. And meanwhile, Witch Doctor goes down to Storm Spirit. The split goes off as well. Got to try and kill off the Ogre.
The courier was just chilling there.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
the
no one
courier died.
it. No, that's a bit unfortunate. They're going to lose Ryzen here. 4F actually getting a kill on PPD in the meantime and top when they decided to TP out. So.
Oh, why did he go back in here? Maybe he can get caught out if they have TPs, but they actually don't. So QO just going to give it a walk away, or I guess Slither. He's perfectly fine. Oh, Heen walking into a lot here. Plenty of damage from the Storm. Gonna be fine, I guess.
Well, he's got a Soul Ring still. Turns around, gets the bash. He's continuing to chase.
Heen is
still
not
10
scared,
seconds
man.
left on the pole, and he's going to be able to walk away from this.
Oh, all
he's
mana used.
Not getting close enough.
Witch Doctor, March knows that every single bit of mana is used. Coconut into a Death Ward. He tries for it, but the vision is gone. He's just
he just
there.
did enough to get over the hill.
My God, that is so depressing.
Yeah, that is really sad to see for Heen.
These stumps,
For
though.
March, of course.
All right, so Forev, he's got phase and drums, has a remnant out to retreat to. PPD and Zai not going to be able to make much happen in that regard. And Fear again, amped up middle lane. Ryzen throws it the Fire Blast. Ignite to follow it up. The clap comes. No TP incoming just yet from EG, but Universe is nearby. Unfortunately, he did not have mana to stomp.
Yeah. Showing off how the amplify damage
he had soaring.
definitely helps quite a bit.
Maybe he just thought he was dead anyway. Level 1 stomp is only 1 second or 2 seconds to disable, right? 2 seconds?
Also, he can always just sprint and run away, right?
2-second disable, and Forev trying to find anyone here. The song is still on long cooldown. Does miss the Searing Chains combination, but QO has a haste rune. No need to use the sprint now.
Yeah, there's no song either, so pretty dead Naga Siren.
Dead Naga lady.
The ganks are working out a little bit now for QO, for MVP in general here. PPD just casually staying, because why not, right?
PPD is...
now he's like, okay.
He's like, I'm not in the best spot right now.
Yeah. Does decide to do the TP out. No shame in that.
I wonder how long it's going to take Arteezy to finish this Bloodstone. The last time we saw him play Storm, he actually finished it like 15 minutes, which is pretty darn fast. And then he just immediately starts fighting. And then I think he ended up buying an additional Soul Ring after the Bloodstone.
I think it might be... No, he actually went for the immediate Orchid after the Bloodstone.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I expected that he would, though, because going for an extra Soul Ring after Bloodstone makes a lot of sense. But I think he's going for the Orchid first, and he is. He does not go for the Bloodstone this game. Orchid is amazing against Ember.
Yeah, but he also really played against a team that an early Orchid would have been equally good against, I would say, and in this game.
That's true.
And he still opted to go for Bloodstone. So I wonder what made him change his mind between the two games.
I have to pick his brain on that one after his game is over. Harass the pro players as much as possible on LAN.
Yes.
Nah, not really. They're fine.
Oh, come on. We treat them like kings here. They get all their food brought to them, basically.
True. We should harass them.
There's like massage table in the back.
Yeah.
Jeez,
we should open one.
It's pro section
the Wagga
only.
table. Steal the rune here from QO. Takes the bounty. Arteezy going to be forced to spend all of his mana just running away from this one.
This is exactly what you were talking about,
QO
Andy.
is so fast.
He is extremely fast. Blink is available and he gets him.
Buddy.
That's a blow to your self-esteem as a Storm Spirit, being chased down by an angry fish.
I mean, level 1 ball is not really that impressive, right?
Oh, it's pretty slow. But also if he jumped another path, maybe he could have gotten away. But in the end, a sprint level 3, now level 4, Slardar chasing after you with Blink Dagger, it's fairly hard to get away from.
So MVP are actually totally outmaneuvering EG right now. They just forced a Panda split top with Forev, and he was able to get away scotch-free. And in the meantime, they're just 3 people mid, attacking at tier 1. They killed Arteezy, who I think is probably like maybe priority number 1 right now.
Yes.
In terms of being able to kill.
It's a massive kill. And
they are doing an insane job.
Could want to sing a song here and try to get something done. Gonna try for the end snare, but of course, just blinking away. So, amazing start really this time for MVP. Fear finally does get up to his Blink Dagger. 15-minute blink from mid lane is definitely nothing you brag about, but he does have it at least.
Well, we have to be fair, right? Like, he didn't have the easiest lane.
Definitely not.
They were hugging him for a long time on the side of MVP. Oh, blink forward. They're going on Arteezy again. They're just going to throw a sphere over. That's the multi to follow it. He just explodes.
Dude, he got...
Nice stomp coming in from Universe. Are they going to be able to follow this up? The clap to boom. Heen trying to teleport out. Gets swapped by PPD. They'll end up trading it as a 2-for-1.
That's some big return kills. Yeah, really massive. At least QO Forev is split pushing. I automatically say QO as it's an Ember Spirit.
Yeah, but it's Forev. I always do the same thing when people switch heroes.
Yes, it's like you play one hero and it's yours. God damn it! Don't swap.
So it's 7-9 here. EG maintain a small kill lead, but I mean, really, you got to hand it to MVP. They've just been doing an excellent job of always keeping the pressure up on the heroes that need to be pressured. Like Arteezy's died twice in a row now. PPD actually getting caught out here completely. He was actually, I'm not even sure what he was doing there. Did he have any wards?
He did have a ward, so he wanted to go in and drop one, but didn't find it in the end.
There's the gimme rune right there.
Do you think that there's a point to be made about killing Storm, trading 2-for-1? Sure, it's not the best, but you shut down a Storm a little bit, who has a very important key timing.
Yeah, I think it is actually pretty important, because this is a safe lane Storm, who doesn't have an Orchid at 16 minutes in. Now, granted, he spent 600, or he bought a bottle. and then he bought a Soul Ring.
Yes.
And he still only has one Oblivion staff, and he's about halfway to his second one. So I would say this Orca timing is going to be like 19, 20 minutes.
Yes.
Which is pretty lackluster in comparison to what a safe lane Storm you would expect out of, right?
And that's the fastest, given that he doesn't have to TP anywhere or help anyone right now, and also that he doesn't get picked off again. So it's not too impressive, but MVP looking pretty happy right now. Starting to tank up a lot as well. Double Bracer on the Witch Doctor. And of course, Ogre is innately very strong. Ogre Club over on Slardar. I guess Void is no surprises, him going for a Mask of Madness, so maybe not tanking up on that hero.
I think the Mask of Madness is going to be doubly effective on a team with a Slardar. Like, if you amp a hero and then you go inside with the Mask of Madness on a Void, you just punch somebody to death. Like, you don't even need to bash at that point. You're just dealing so much damage. And QO being a level 11 now has a level 2 ulti, which is minus, what, 15 armor?
Yeah,
it's completely insane.
It's actually 15, yes. And late game, if you're EG, you gotta go up against Team RNG. You have the ding-de-ding from Ogre.
Yeah.
You have the bash from Slardar. You have the bash from Void. And Ember, also pretty well-known RNG hero later on in the game. So MVP are gonna have some pretty scary stuff. Oh, look at QO. The nerves going in and trying to steal Ancients here, but
that's pretty ballsy.
This is not something that EG
that
will
vision
have.
I actually feel as though like the item progression is so much slower for EG right now on the heroes that they need it to be needed to be quicker on, like the Storm Orchid timing. I mean, QO is going to be pretty much BKB by the time the Orchid's finished, right? Or at least have the Ogre Club and the Mithril Hammer. So
yes, there will be a very limited timing window.
How much are they going to get out of this? Do they buy it solely for the Ember? And I mean, sure, it still works in the Ember and the Void, but I think QO is going to be a huge issue for RTC in this game.
I think so.
Because all you do is you just pop BKB and just tunnel vision run at the Storm. And what does Arteezy do? Like, he pulls, and then he has to hope that his team disables a BKB target.
Top lane. So aggressive.
Yeah.
But that's very true. That's very true. The Fish is going to be hard to deal with. Fish, meanwhile, bottom on this tower, also crushing it. Forcing out a glyph, at least. Taking a lot of damage, so maybe with the Stomp they can do something, but it misses.
Yeah, he dodges it with the Sprint. It's Cyclone there, but QO is still last hitting the tower.
Regarding the slower item progression of EG, overall their last hits are not that bad. Like, overall. And the gold is only 700 advantage for MVP total. But Naga is soaking up a lot of farm. And how much do you value that farm top? A little bit of a chase here, but I think he's going to be fine.
Ooh, that was close. I don't know actually if the auto attack would have killed him.
Nah,
but it would have been close.
He would have lived from one auto attack at least. But the farm on Naga just seems like it's hindering your course from shining a little bit. Because there would be more farm for everyone else if she did not have these 63 CS.
It kind of depends on what farm you're taking, you know what I mean? Like, if you're taking the farm that is the easy farm and your Storm didn't have an Orchid, then I would say yes, it could be a little bit detrimental, but maybe they're just thinking that Zai is going to be relied upon a little bit more during the late game, because you can Song during the Slardar, or during the Slardar's BKB, right? You can Song the Sphere, and being able to push out lanes is actually something they kind of need right now. I mean, look at the map. The lanes are pretty much all shoved towards EG except for bottom. So, I mean...
That's true, but it does hurt them at this stage of the game to soak up so much farm on Nagasaran instead, I believe. Obviously, later on, it would be sweet to have a farmed up Naga, as opposed to having just a support Naga. But I think she can do a lot, like TF3 style, do a lot even from just a support role. Yeah. EGM showed it so many times with the Heaven's Halberd build on a support Naga, how he can just walk in very tanky. Top lane now should be an attempt here by MVP. Can they catch out the Storm?
I think they can. Arteezy not going to be able to pull out of this one. Rising going in, gets one multicast. The bashes are real. He's not going to be able to get away. Just gets killed.
Yeah, he is just dead to that. I mean, there's really nothing you can do when you get jumped by that, because Storm doesn't ball away that fast. And the chrono goes up really quickly. Bottom lane, an attempt here on QO. They might just kill him.
Oh, wow. Yeah, he's dead, I think.
Yeah.
There's the ensnare, and goodbye.
So blink clap was really key there as well. Else, of course, the Fish could just blink out himself.
Lots of little trades going on here.
Yeah.
I think maybe if he had just sprinted like directly down after the crush instead of throwing out another ability, he might have been able to get out of range of the magic missile, but Could be close.
Yeah, staying for the crush or for the amplify after crushing is definitely, you know, that's not the best time spent when you're trying to survive a gank, but I still think he was in a very bad spot because of the end snare being available. Even the song, to be honest, she could have just used that if they really wanted to kill him. 4ev here has to be a little bit careful.
He's doing his best the man impression right now. Just playing as aggressive as possible. But I like it because most Ember Spirit players will play like this. Like they'll just play aggressively, take the dangerous farm, always have retreat remnants out to make sure that if anything goes wrong, you don't actually get punished for it. And Ember is one of the best heroes in the business of that kind of stuff.
Definitely. And right now, getting some nice and very, very important deep wards here into the enemy jungle. I think this ward that they have in the Radiant jungle is going to be important for EG. And of course, same thing over on MVP.
RTZ is just flying all over the place right now, just using all his mana to run away from all the cores of MVP.
Yeah. So Zai is definitely going for the Radiance next. After these Drum Aquila builds, there's nothing else that he really wants. And yeah, I think he did buy a smoke there and drop in base. But other than that, he's just playing like a carry right now.
I mean, it's dangerous to get complacent, I think, if you're MVP, because clearly they're controlling the pace of the game. Like, they're the ones always making EG react to them. They're pushing out the lanes as hard as they can. But there will come a point when Zai gets that Radiance, and when Arteezy gets another item, if it's going to be like BKB or if it's going to be Bloodstone, either way, he's going to be tankier in the team fights. He'll be able to use his mana more liberally to be in a better position. And when BKB starts running out, it seems like I might be talking about that a bit early, as QO doesn't even have his BKB yet. But when you get to 5-second BKB, Storm becomes a lot stronger.
Yeah, that is really true, but the multiple BKB build on MVP, I think are going to keep them just safe here. And the timing on Orchid was really late, and he thus decided to not go for any gank with it. He's going to try top now, silencing 4ev. This is going to be an attempt that will succeed.
Yeah. Orchid damage, killing him there. Briefcase, helping seal the deal. Or a stapler, whichever you want to call it. They're going to find QO. What the heck is he doing over here?
Wow.
Speaking of minus armor, he had minus 15 armor on him there. Just an Elder Titan and just a Wave of Terror. If the Riptide was there faster as well, it would have been even more. Well, actually, the other way around. But plenty of minus armor.
That was sloppy from MVP, I think.
Yeah, they're losing one more. Witch Doctor should definitely die here. No way to get out. So that started out by not respecting the Storm. You can't farm, and this is what MVP did yesterday as well. You can't farm right outside a tier 3 tower against a team that can punish you with hexes or silences.
At least they're doing it now at 24 minutes instead of
62 minutes in, yes.
I mean, still, I would argue that the positioning right now on the side of MVP is not so great. He ain't gonna get spotted here. Orchid being used. Is he gonna backtrack anything? Universe even helping out with the Spirit, yeah.
I mean, it may not look like it deals that much damage to him, but every single punch from Arteezy there hurts so much. So definitely EG finding everything they want and suddenly definitely back in the game.
I think this is one of those situations where hubris can be your downfall, you know, if you're MVP.
Yeah.
And I don't think it was necessarily that per se, but it was just like QO clearly like way out of position, especially after he saw that 4ev got ganked and just ends up giving away another kill in addition to that. And then March being on the enemy's high ground, like...
I'm going to go as far as to say that 4ev was the one making the bigger mistake, though. Standing right outside after having, you know, seen the Storm Spirit jump away, you knew he was farming the big camp with your ward. And, well, actually, never mind that now, as they're trying to gank mid.
Fear, nice reaction time. Wow. He's still going to get stunned out, though. The cast to follow it up, the swap from PPD, going to keep him alive. Gets amplified up.
So stacked,
we're doing some damage. They're going to get a 2-man stomp here. They're going to go for an Earth Splitter onto Ryzen, the clap, and the pull back in. They will be able to get 1 kill on the Ogre. March being chased down now. Here comes Arteezy with the Orchid. A couple of auto attacks. Should be able to secure that pretty easily. Searing Chains hits on 2, but not much to follow it up.
MVP so greedy. Missing that, like the crush with Slardar, blinking to the wrong way and then still committing to the chase. I don't think you get that kill, especially against a team with Nagasar and Vengeful. Either there's going to be a song or a swap. So they just really wanted to get that kill, I guess.
The call from Universe there was, I'm pretty sure there's a void behind him. So really good awareness there. Why would
Arteezy is dead.
Yeah, the Bash Lords are chasers. And seems Forever's gonna go for a BKB build as well onto Ember. Does not want to get caught out by the Orchid anymore. So they're gonna have to try BKB build. Maybe, yeah, okay, Void might just delay it a little bit as it's very likely he goes for a Maelstrom instead.
That Void head.
Yeah.
That's some Call of Cthulhu stuff. He's got like a drawn-on face.
It's the primal form of the tentacular Time Lord.
Oh, nice.
In case you want it.
Thank you.
That is a ridiculous name.
Yeah.
I'm actually angry at that name. Song actually being popped here.
I think it's a runaway song.
Yeah, could be. Did he run so far away?
Okay, he wants to dive in.
Sphere. This should be a kill, maybe. Here comes the Yules out of Universe. Blink Crush coming in from QO to stop him from throwing out a Stomp.
He's handling it so well.
Anyway, yep,
really
BKB popped by QO. He turns around, wants to try to kill Zai. That's going to be a death before the Radiance is finished, definitely hurting him. Looks like Forever is spending some time in the air here. The rest of EG nearby. QO thinking about trying to counter-initiate with a stun, but he's not going to be able to get in position for it. Ryzen eating a stun. Witch Doctor being thrown in there as well.
He has the stun ready, gonna go for a stun on PPD. Starter does go down in the end to Storm, and I think that MVP are overcommitting here.
Yeah, chasing PPD really down, but...
I mean, this is so much greed for getting one support kill, and then you get punished really hard by EG.
I think every time fights like that happen, the only thing that could have went better for EG is if somebody else besides Zai died, because he didn't have his Radiance yet. Yeah. And I mean, it sounds like a 30-minute Radiance is not all that impressive, but we have to remember this started off as a 4-position Naga. Yeah. So, that being said, pretty darn good. EG going to be able to open up the Roshan opportunity. They do have a Vlad, so...
28-minute Bloodstone here.
Yeah, he gets the Bloodstone after the Orchid, so in the end, going for the same item build, just different order.
I think the Orchid made sense against the Ember.
Yes, the Orchid was not to get aggressive ganks going himself, it was just to rely on MVP making mistakes, and he did punish them.
Yeah.
So he definitely needed Orchid.
Especially given that we saw MVP, like you said yesterday, being willing to put the Ember so far up like that, in danger. If you can catch him out with it.
Well, it's kind of those heroes' job, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you're not going to find solo kills, you have to be worth your weight, more or less. And you get prioritized in a lane, so then you start farming the position that no one else can farm but you, to give the rest of your team a chance to stay relevant in their item progression. So I think it is risky, obviously. And
what does Slark need here now? He's got Blink BKB. Armlet?
You mean Slardar?
Slardar, sorry, yeah.
A lot of people go AC for the armor aura. I would say that's a really good choice. Sometimes Slardars even build Vlads just against heroes like ET, and I don't think anybody else on the team is going to buy it. Blink Crush coming out from QO. He does have a BKB.
Stomp
They're just going to, yeah.
I wouldn't be sad to see him go for either Vlads or Armlet. They're going to keep chasing here, trying to catch anything, but again, very directly outside the enemy base. They're still going. What a dodge! He dodges the stun. Very nice by Zai,
still
but
dead,
still gonna go down.
Oh, he gets a sphere on 2. Universe and PPD caught inside. Arteezy actually TPs inside of the sphere. Not taking much damage, though. Magic Missile gonna stun Heen. They definitely want to try to get something out of this. Arteezy,
Storm is here to punish you.
He wants to try to find QO. Earth Splitter gonna be a tiny bit off the mark. Forev coming in from the back as QO drops. March eating a pull here. No mana left on Arteezy. He's going to get swapped to safety. PPD swapping and getting a stun off to secure a kill onto March. And here comes the Bash Lord. Heen taking out PPD after a few attacks. Forev going to his Spirit in middle lane. Will be safe at the time being. Ends up being 2 for 2.
Yeah, 2 for 2, but that's 2 Bloodstone charges towards the Storm as well. And getting up to 10, you know, Storm, if you ever go Bloodstone, you want to get the early fights going for you as soon as you complete it. And that's what you get. Also, it's 2, I'm not going to say it's 2 supports anymore, because Zai obviously is a core Naga at this point.
Heen wants to become the Bash Lord. He wants to become the Storm Herald.
Just click your Mask of Madness and hope.
And just hope, yeah.
Pray to the RNG Lords. Like,
he could be waiting for Forev, actually.
To be honest, if you do it, you probably die to the Aegis respawn of Storm, and he chases you down and kills you. Oh, he's going to block the spawn. That's cheeky.
Yeah, that is cheeky.
Also, he still has the Vengeance Aura on himself. Now he just lost it. But he had it for quite a time there, so his damage was not too impressive. AC and Vlad's on Fear now. Made another pretty impressive recovery after having such a hard time.
I mean, you mentioned this too during the draft, is having Vlad's AC and an Elder Titan on your team.
Yes.
Your right clicks do so much. Doesn't even matter what hero you are. Like, they have Avenge on top of that.
You see it in every fight. Naga Siren as well plays into this part. The minus armor.
Yep.
So every single time they just try to man fight, it seems the MVP are taking unreasonably high damage. And that's pretty much where you get the build.
Question is, what is MVP's response to this? Like, the mass aura basically coming in. I mean, what, it's 51% damage or around there for having the Vlads and the Vengeance aura coming out from the VS, so...
Well, it seems that it's going to be an armlet build on Slardar, I assume, or maybe even lifesteal. Not definitely armlet, as he confirms it by buying his gloves of attack speed as well. But I don't know, man. Vlad's would be really good to have for.
I mean, he has no armor against DT, and he actually has minus what, like 10, 11 armor or something like that from Riptide and the AC aura, so...
Oh, it's so much.
Oh, I mean, and the wave as well,
wave of terror.
Venge, yeah.
So already 11 by just Naga, and Forev gets caught out here. Nice save, though, the bailout from QO.
Yeah, he gets a double stun. Arteezy's actually going to be losing his Aegis here. We'll be respawning shortly, though. QO forced to pop the BKB. Earth Splitter actually going to hit on Ryzen, and QO ends up taking out the Slardar. Witch Doctor once again spending some time in the air as PPD's getting chased down by Forev. March just dying under his own tier 2. Heen comes in, throws out the Chronosphere, but Arteezy's so tanky, and here comes Zai with the song. Heen stuck in place. There is an Orchid up on Arteezy. They're just going to pop it straight away.
EG are executing so well in this fight. It's really hard to win this. I mean, Forev now trying to get away, but he jumps back. Okay, that's not what he wanted. He's going to jump out again, but completely out of mana.
Oh, wow.
And that's just 5 heroes dying for an Aegis only. And I have to agree with you, as you said yesterday, Andy. Storm, definitely the best Aegis carrier in the game, there's no doubt.
Yeah. Just being able to respawn and have that kind of mobility and reach, like, no matter how far away you run, the Storm will catch you.
Yeah.
You know? Unless you're Slardar, maybe, and then you just run super fast.
Maybe. But this pressure here definitely gonna take out Rax on top lane, and they will probably just take both and then back. Of course, tier 2 towers are standing on the other lane, so nothing more to really gain here. And they might even take the mid tower if they want to now. They know the Chronosphere is down, but they also don't have a split, so no shame in backing for EG here if they want to.
I don't really know what MVP's backup plan is, because the Void isn't really enough of a threat at this stage in the game. And QO, he's going to go in on Arteezy, gets one bash here, another bash.
Yeah,
all
show
right.
the RNG Lord.
I think the other problem they've got is that even if they do get a Chronosphere on, say, Arteezy, you've got Swap, which we've seen, you've got Song, which we've seen.
And ET.
It's really, really, really difficult for them to actually lock anybody down. Even
the Yule Scepter or Stomp from ET as well. I mean, he has saved people twice with the Yule Scepter at least.
Yeah.
And EG gonna go for a smoke now from their base. They're smoking up with the Storm and Universe. That's more than enough to kill pretty much anyone if they get the vision on them first. So the backup plan, to answer your question, Andy, I think it's just RNGesus. I don't think you have a firm, like, this is how we're gonna come back into the game, because you don't have, like, you don't have a push, you don't have that secure late game, you can't farm.
It's very difficult.
EG are controlling the lanes with a Storm who can kill anyone really from very far.
And you've got Nagasarian with a Radiance.
It's very true.
So it's
and
tough
bots.
times.
And bots. It's interesting. But,
they're going on Forev here. The silence is there. BKB being used. Still punching hard though.
This is one of those scenarios where we used to see people pick like Tiny and stuff against Void teams.
Oh, they see Ogre, they're gonna go on him.
Yeah, force that forward. Arteezy just comes
from a million miles away.
Uses all his mana, gets a pull off.
Gets a charge though.
15 charges.
Yeah. It's starting to get to that fountain region on
Is there a limit on the number of charges you can have?
You can have any number you want, Ted. That's the beauty of being a core player.
And then you buy more
one day,
Bloodstones.
Wagga, I will know these things.
Yes. I had a 53 charges Bloodstone once on Storm. It was godlike. For that
actually, it was probably beyond godlike.
Yeah, it was probably.
I think so. So tier 2 dropping here.
I like the build from Fear. He's gonna go into Shivas next. Just be the Aura Lord. You know, they already have a Radiance, but if they didn't, he would probably be happy to build that as well.
Oh, the Hex Ice still ends up dropping. Forev gets a Sleight of Fist off from long distance.
That's, you know, sort of worth. And getting kills when you're behind is definitely gonna give you a lot of gold. So 15,000 behind in gold as they get that kill. But, you know.
Wow.
I think there's something really important to note. Like, the way that EG play their cores is a lot of the times they actually make mid players buy the aura items. Like, let's look at MVP, for example. They have, like, no AC, no Vlads, auras pretty much at all.
Yes.
And then on the side of EG, you have two damage auras, one of course from the Venge, one from the Vlad's AC, and you have Elder Titan. There's just so many things that allow you to
And they
fight.
have the bongos.
Yeah, they have drums as well. We're going to see a kill here on the bottom lane as March ends up dropping, but I think it's a really smart way to play it because normally you don't get those items until a bit later if you're getting it on even off-laners or supports.
Yeah.
And it makes your team scaling just tremendous as opposed to whatever you're playing against an MVP.
This EG draft is a draft that you can look at and actually just think about that. How well does it scale? Okay, you have the Vengeful Aura, you have the drums and Vlads and AC built. You're also going for the Shivas already. Wave of Terror works really well into the late and mid game. You have Riptide also for even more. And Ancestral Spirit from Elder Titan. All of it just giving so much that even a Storm with right clicks can act as a carry. Because sometimes a Storm, you find yourself not dealing that much with right click, and RTZ playing pretty aggressive here. Gets caught up though, might go down here, should actually go down.
Oh, nice
What
spear
a
from
chrono.
Heen.
That's beautiful.
That was a very good chrono.
I mean, he's only dead for 20 seconds, but still.
The other
But he
thing is,
paid.
if you think about the fact they've got Naga Siren as well, started off, as you said, as a 4. If the game goes long, you've suddenly got a Radiance Naga Siren running around with money. It's like an additional problem.
Yeah. They actually got 3,300 experience from that kill and 1,700 gold. So
Nice.
pretty happy is MVP. But I think that's where EG's drafts, you know, these kind of things. Sure, you can have good core players, but you have to respect that this is a well thought out draft as well from EG.
I really like it. I think this is maybe one of the, well, maybe one of my favorite drafts that I've seen so far in Phase 2.
Yeah.
Because you look at it at face value and it's like, okay, yeah, you got ET, you got Brew, but the way that they actually decided to go for it and the way that they built was really cool to me.
And it's going to be an Aghanims on Universe. He has it in 250 gold. And that's amazing, really. When he gets that, he can stop the Void, Slardar, or Ember from hitting even during BKB, which is crazy strong, but we very rarely see it being used. Because normally after the 4-staff and Yules, you go Shivas. This game, though, as you said, the mid laner, get him to build your items.
He's pretty much got them all, almost. I mean,
Could even be a Hex, though, on Brewmaster.
yeah, I wouldn't hate Hex, actually.
Would be good as well.
And Roshan respawns once again. Gem going to be purchased by MVP so they can do some dewarding right now, but
Welcome back, big boy.
I think this Aegis, if it is going to be Hex, he'll just buy it. Or no, he's buying Lincoln's.
Is he?
Are MVP
Yeah, he
going
just
to
bought a
try and
Perseverance.
come in here?
That's very interesting. I mean, I guess Lincoln's is still fine. Smoke here from MVP. They're thinking about trying to go in. There's a counter smoke as well. Heen going in, gets Hex before he can throw out the ultimate. No Sphere going to be used just yet. The Orchid to follow it up. Still not able to use his Sphere. And Heen just ends up dying. The Earth Splitter hits on 3 of MVP. Ryzen trying to TP away. The Song cancel. Arteezy comes back in, even with Amplify damage. Still has his Aegis up. And I think this is pretty much the beginning of the end here for MVP. Are they even going to get a single kill? Can they even take out one hero? The BKB QO cannot take down a single enemy.
Oh my goodness.
Well, everyone is so damn tanky, you know? Like, who is the easiest to kill on their team when they run together? Even Vengeful is sitting at over 20 armor. Elder Titan has over 20 armor, pretty much. I mean,
GG
when they're
called.
stacking up, they're just too hard to kill. 30 armor Brewmaster. And GG gets called by MVP.
That was a fantastic performance from EG.
Yeah,
I mean,
very
this is
dominant display.
kind of what we were expecting to see out of EG. Like, just come in, have not necessarily like an easy time, but they never really lost control, I think. You know, and that game especially, I feel as though their lineup functioned well throughout the whole game, but they even had a good start. So
yeah, well, definitely MVP had the better chance in game 1, and they were closer to doing something useful there, I think. But when EG walked together, that's something that MVP didn't seem to have drafted against, because they had no reply to the, or nothing against the 5-man strat.
Well, don't underestimate the power of double aura, or well, I guess triple aura, with Elder Titan.
Tons of aura, really. Even the Vengeful aura. I mean, it's just stack up, right? Not to be underestimated. So, game over and welcome back, Shiver.
Thank you. And I have to point out, I mean, EG, as I said, first game was very convincing. Second game, I mean, just
more convincing somehow.
Yeah. But also EG, they're the favorites coming into the tournament, like the favorites to take it all. One of the favorites. And MVP, they didn't even know they were going to be here until like a week ago. And they still were able to hold their own quite okay against what is called the top dogs here. So
is that
I
it?
have to give some credit
MVP
there.
done now in terms of games?
MVP is done.
Okay.
I think their end score is now
6-8, isn't it?
6-8, you're right. And that is on the edge.
Okay.
It is probably safe, but it all depends on the rest of the games.
Yeah.
I mean, that's good too, because, you know, if we don't want to have too many things set in stone.
Yeah, you want it to be right down to the finishing line.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure MVP wants to be safe.
I'm sure they do. Yeah.
No, regardless though, I mean, that was some solid play. I was wondering, Naga Siren, support, we haven't seen it in a long time, or at least I haven't. And this Naga Siren at 26 minutes it's ahead of Radiance, and then a couple of minutes later that were Boots of Travel added to that. Are we going to see Naga more as a support? Or is
I think
like
they might have actually changed their mind halfway through the draft as what they wanted the Naga to do. Because I think it was 3rd or 4th, right? Pick?
That was,
that.
yeah, it was 3rd or 4th.
They might have changed what they wanted the hero to do. But they picked Elder Titan really early too, so maybe not. Maybe they had that same idea going into it. It's kind of hard to say. Because I think in a way, like Naga Siren support is really strong against Void anyway. Because really all you want is it for it to hit 6, and then you can just change farm priority when you have a hero like Storm who's supposed to be active during mid-game. So all you have to do is just have Zai just farm whatever he wants during that time.
It doesn't work in any specific draft. It's more the overall idea. Because they had the Vengeful along with it, and every single fight they took, just tons of damage. Even the small skirmishes, you know, you quickly apply up to 10 minus armor, and if Elder Titan is there as well, all the base armor is gone. So it functions really well in this type of draft, but probably not something you can just say, okay, let's have a Naga support without thinking about it.
Yeah, and of course, EG, the winning team, and Bruno is not here, but we do have Jess sitting on a couch with 2 members from Evil Geniuses.
All right, guys. Well, since I am filling in for Bruno, I thought I'd wear his shades for just a little bit. So that was quite the performance. Now, in both games, what stood out the most is it looked like MVP continuously tried to initiate, and you guys were so great at just counter-initiating. Would you agree, or was there, what in your mind was the main strategy that allowed you to win?
I agree with that. I really felt like they were trying to come to us, both games. They were really trying hard to invade our side of the map, and we were very pressured to stop it, and I guess it went very well stopping them.
And it was surprising because in the first game in particular, the casters were saying that draft-wise, they really thought MVP had it. And especially with the Darkseer ban, I believe, or I'm sorry, did you guys ban Darkseer or was it MVP?
I think we banned Darkseer, yeah.
That was a couple games ago. Do you know why you made that choice to ban that? Because there wasn't anything it looked like Darkseer would be able to combo particularly well with.
I think I think that was one of the bans that Peter didn't really say anything about. Usually the bans are related to what Peter is strategizing our lineup with. So I guess he had one reason to ban Darkseer. It might have been that our safe lane would have been too weak, and that Darkseer could have just messed with our safe lane because we wanted to go aggro. And so if they have a Darkseer in our safe lane, there's not that many heroes that we can put up against Darkseer and actually win. So that might have been it. Do you have anything to add to that? You're letting Zai do all the talking.
Oh, he's doing a fantastic job. So
all right. Lumi, did you have any thoughts? Also, we got to throw it back to the casters in just a second, but any final thoughts?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of teams try to out-aggression you guys, if it were. Game 1, the Centaur and the Panda Blink trying to take the game. But I actually want to ask about yesterday's team fight where you guys play against 4 Anchors and Sea Captain. I think it was Game 1 where there was a Slark that just backstabbed you. You threw your ult that never flew out. You remember that Roshan team fight that I thought when they were charging in that they were going to go down because you guys had a pretty big chokehold. AA had an Aghanims. What really went wrong in that fight, if you guys still remember?
Do you remember that?
Sort of.
Letting him answer again.
I know that Slark was constantly looking for someone to pick off behind the lines. He knew that me as an ancient person, I'm not going to stand in the Rosh pit and auto-attack the Roshan. I'm going to stay way back and try and land an ultimate on their heroes. So he purposely went and looked for me and caught me off guard and just killed me. So I wasn't in the team fight at all. As you said, I missed my ultimate. And I think when you fight at Roshan, your main objective is also killing Roshan. So you're kind of sometimes it's hard to make decisions on who to focus and stuff when you're fighting around Rosh pit. So I think we were confused and kind of caught off guard when they came, and especially with me dying, I don't think we had that much to put up when they came.
Okay.
And I think that is all we have time for now, unfortunately. So we are going to go ahead and throw it to a commercial.